Welcome to Pigeon River Farm, doing farming right. I'm Robert Brown, the owner of Pigeon River Farm. Thank you for viewing. Good evening. In tonight's episode, we're going to talk about flying in bad weather. We need to take a drone out. I typically fly almost every day of the year, multiple times. So it's inevitable I'll be flying in inclement weather. So we chose a drone that we felt was best suited to that environment, and we went with the Typhoon H. It's a six-rotor design, very, very stable, and very stable gimbal on it. That's the part that rotates the camera when the drone is bouncing around because of the wind. So what we've done on the farm here is we have to fly in every imaginable condition. So let's give you an example here. I've flown in very high winds, both summer and winter. I've flown in snow, and the snow adds a real challenge. We had an incident last year. I was going out checking the cattle flying in the snow, and I'm thankful that I got a six-rotor design. I ended up having a motor stall because too much ice built up on the impellers. Is everybody's familiar with planes with problems with icing? Well, the drones will do the same thing. Additionally, I have flown in very, very light rain, but I will avoid. The only time I typically won't fly is in heavier rain. The drone is not weather tight, so electronics could be exposed to the weather. And additionally, when you're flying in even in the mist, or real light drizzle, have a tendency for the camera to get covered, so it reduces the usefulness of the drone. The challenge is with flying a drone, getting it off the ground in high winds. So that's number one challenge. Not that difficult, but you have to plan ahead. First off, you got to make sure that where you're launching from, there's no trees in the direction that the wind is blowing. And then you also want to have the drone facing the wind and plan on putting some forward directional power onto the drone as you start to leave the ground. So I normally get off the ground 5 feet or so, and then I start putting a little forward momentum to it so it doesn't get blown back by the gusts. We normally take off by the shop. One challenge there is I have a lot of metal buildings and metal large equipment sitting around, so I have some magnetic problems with the compass system and sometimes even getting a real good GPS lock. But I found that that's a better sheltered area for the launch. Once the drone's in the air, I've flown in high as much as 40 mile an hour winds. It's really bouncing around there. And you figure as you get up at altitude, if I'm flying at 100 feet, we have higher wind speeds there than we would have had at the ground. So that is a challenge. The only thing I've ever experienced is very short battery life. So heavy winds you can expect to lose typically anywhere from 50 to even as much as 75% of your flight time, because the drone is trying to counteract the conditions of the wind. So it can take a 20-minute flight and easily turn it into 10 minutes, sometimes 5 minutes. But I normally have a plan in place. I'll go out, fly, see what I need to do, observe the cattle, fences, tree conditions near fences, and the like, and bring it back. Now we get into the challenge, landing the drone in high winds. That is much more complicated than launching a drone, maintaining it in the air, even getting in fairly close to the cattle and so on. It's still very stable, but landing it is a real challenge. And I've had it tip on me twice, and I had to do a corrective action and launch it back up, otherwise it would run the blades into the ground. So what I had to do there is I come in and I normally just kind of leapfrog it. I get it in as close as I can, and I have a good plan with no obstacles around, so I have a way out. Again, figuring out which way where the wind is blowing from, you want to make sure that the obstacles that would be in the downward of the wind are as far as practical. So what I normally do is I'll actually send the drone down relatively rapid the last 50 feet, and then it's timing. So experience is critical. Do not try this if you're just a novice. I've got a lot of years now of experience, but the last foot, I get it in fast, I level off at the last minute, and then I try to shut the turbine blades down as fast as possible just as I land. And always be prepared, and the safety is up. In fact, the term I had heard in a class I took, thumbs up buttercup. And that actually is just allowing you to correct by putting the drone upward, and in this case, you'd be going into the wind. So you want to do both. So I'm specifically talking about wind landings. Normal landings are going to be a lot safer. So I've enjoyed using a drone. It's been very beneficial, and like any tool, you learn how to use it in the most adverse conditions. Take tractors out in the mud. I don't like to, but it does happen. So you have to plan ahead. Same thing with the drone. So I hope this information was beneficial, and if you have any interest in drones, get in touch with me. I hope I can share some of my knowledge. And I thank you and have a great evening. Good night.